Okay, it's 9:02 a.m. We will begin this special meeting of the Lake County Board of County Commissioners. Up, agenda item number 1 we have today is a public hearing on the 2025 supplemental budget. And this feels a little short on details for agenda item number 1. But basically we're just opening to, since it's a public hearing, we're gonna open a public comment for that. If anyone in the room has any comment on the 2025 supplemental budget, you may speak by raising your hand. We'll give you more than 3 minutes if you really wanna.
Wow. Take advantage now.
Okay, anyone online? Let's see if we have anything online. Is there even anyone online besides us?
Just Colleen.
Okay. Alright. That will conclude the public hearing portion of the 2025 supplemental budget subject. Agenda item number 2, discussion and consideration of the adoption of resolution 2025-39, a resolution of approving the transfer of previously appropriated monies, between funds or between spending agencies of Lake County, Colorado, and adopting a supplemental budget and making supplemental and revised appropriations. Led by Candace Bryan, County Manager. Sorry, I'm going off 2 things here, I'm like, and I think I missed a word in there.
This is updated.
This is updated?
The agenda is not. No.
Okay,
The title got changed on the resolution after I posted the agenda, so.
What he just read is exactly what is on the agenda.
I'm just going off of what they're telling me to
It's
do.
a little less.
Okay,
It's a little less. It's close.
alright. We're good, legal? Thank you. Okay, led by Candace Bryan, County Manager. Take it away, Candace.
Alright, so this is and we do supplementals quarterly, and a supplemental is essentially any time that a spending agency, so a department, or a fund more specifically it needs to have money that was not originally given to it to make sure that it's in balance for the year. And we talked about these supplementals on our work session last week. This is just the official document to make those changes, so we're on the December 5th, 2025, we decided not to commit $950,000 to the purchase of a piece of property from the school district. That $950 at the end of 25 will roll back up into our general fund balance. And then we also have a couple of departments that are in their own funds that needed money to make sure that they were gonna be not spending more than they had in appropriated monies for the year. And that's the water enterprise, which will be around the 240 mark to get it in balance for the year. And then the courthouse renovation fund, I've received a few more invoices that are beyond the 300,000 you guys had originally put in there for me to use. And that the total of those invoices I've got left to pay for the year is that 160. So we're gonna transfer that. That's it. That's all. That's all I have.
Pretty straightforward. We've
I
talked
move-
about most of it.
I move to approve resolution 2025-39, a resolution of approving the transfer of previously appropriated monies between funds or between spending agencies of Lake County, Colorado, and adopting a supplemental budget and making supplemental and revised appropriations.
I'll second.
Will vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Alright. Okay, moving on, agenda item number 3. The commissioners will go into executive session pursuant to CRS 24-6-402, section 4B and 4E. For the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and instructing negotiators regarding the courthouse renovation project. And receiving legal advice from the county attorney regarding the same, including matters subject to attorney-client privilege. The executive session is not open to the public. No formal action will be taken during the executive session. Any decisions or directions requiring formal action will be taken in open session following the executive session. Okay,
You wanna say what we'll do with this?
do I need to?
What's that?
Traditionally, we've always said who will be present during executive session. Do you think that's necessary?
Well, I think I wanna start out with just myself, Candace, and you guys, and kind of put some parameters on the discussion, and then we can kind of go from there of who we wanna invite in, or whether we wanna just, come back in public and have a discussion.
Okay,
Okay. Different strokes, different folks.
love it, I love
I
it.
need to pause for a moment for seeing my tape. Just kidding.
Colleen, we'll text you when we'll text you.
Sorry, Colleen, I think we have to kick you off for just a second, and then can I text you to jump back on?
Yes, that works. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sorry.
I will make a motion to go into executive session regarding courthouse renovations.
Seconded.
Okay, vote at 9:09 AM to go to executive session.
Aye.
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 Now.
Need my hand. Alright, 9:59, the Board of County Commissioners will now come out of executive session. And for the record, no decisions were made during executive session, it's limited to discussion. So moving on, agenda item number 4, the discussion and consideration of the county courthouse project, including consideration of amendments to resolution 2024-43, the certificate of participation, and direction regarding courthouse renovation contracts. A lot of discussion for this one. Should we kind of just recap, like?
You should just say what you wanna say.
Okay.
Just say what you wanna say.
I mean, I don't think it's a huge mystery that, the county's in a much different position now than it was in 2024, when resolution 2024-43 was implemented. I think we realize that we need to improve the sheriff's department, we need to make some changes to the courthouse. Certain ideas to me still sound like they need to happen, things like sally ports and secure transfer. But with what we have to work with now, knowing what we know, and with the changes that have happened in the last year at state and federal levels, things that have affected other departments that ultimately affect what the county has to work with. Are we making the smartest decision by moving forward with the original plan of trying to change and make everything work within the walls of this building? And would we be able to expand and do other options with a similar amount of money? And these are questions we need to ask before we commit to something that might not be the smartest path forward. So I think we've got a lot of homework to do. We've got a lot of hard questions to ask. We wanna do what's best for all departments involved, and I think within the walls of this building, it's really challenging. And, I don't wanna move forward on a concrete trajectory until we have asked all those questions and looked at all the options. That's it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to us doing the capital asset management plan. be able to look at all the needs in our that we're responsible for in terms of buildings, so we can make a really efficient decision in the future. And I really respect all the people who have been working on this so far. And I know that we've got a great team working on it that'll help us stay in budget as much as is possible. So, yeah, looking forward to more information finding, fact finding. And, I think we've asked staff to make this a high priority because we understand the urgency with so many different things, with our COP, with our contracts with folks, with code changes, and with a tightening budget over the years. So we've committed to trying to be really responsive and timely so that everybody knows what they should expect from us in this project. And we're not there yet. So I also just wanna take accountability for that. But we are trying to move this along as quickly as possible to give a clear direction.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot of money. There was a lot of money put towards this, and the outlook was much different, and there was a lot more money available. Now there's not, and now that our fiscal restraint, the strings are a little bit tighter, and we're getting a handle on it, so I think it'd be nice to take a pause and wait. See how this year's budget shakes out and get some more options, and just take a little bit of a pause and not jump into a multi-million-dollar project that is just a Band-Aid, or trying to squeeze everything into this building that, or, I don't know, I'll just reiterate, we just need more information, and also this is a decision not just for this year or next year, but like maybe the next 50 to 100 years. Unless crime is going to disappear altogether, Heath, can you?
It's not my projections.
With flock cameras and thought crimes, you don't think
That
we
may
can?
solve it all, yes. Okay.
So that's all I got. I think we're doing the right thing, we're doing the smart thing, and everybody's putting their heads together, and we'll see what we can do that's we think is the right thing. It may be different than what the last administration thought was the right thing, so.
When we've got options, I think is one of the hard parts. We might have so many options. And right now we're trying to get enough information to narrow it down. So we have just so much more information to get around our COP and what the other needs in this community, that it's like, whoa, we could solve multiple problems at the same time, and we just don't know enough about how urgent some of those problems are before we want to make a decision to try to solve them. So it's like, I just piggyback off what you said, Matt, I think we're trying to be incredibly diligent and conscientious about where we're spending money. Because right now there are too many places where we could be spending money and we wouldn't be able to solve all of our problems. So we're trying to really narrow it down and be concentrated in how we leverage public dollars to solve some of our building issues, because it's all building issues. We just have pits of buildings.
And also that part of that piece is not just spending the money, but borrowing money.
Yeah.
At what rate, and
Yes.
can we get a better rate if we start getting more time with our audits, get our finances a little tighter?
Yeah.
If we were to borrow more money, couldn't we get a better rate so I'm more concerned, I know it would be great if everybody had everything they wanted, but I'm more concerned about the financial stability of the county moving forward. The outlook, what we're gonna borrow, what we're gonna spend, could we do it all out of pocket, piecemeal, or is there another option? So I guess we're going around in circles now, but to me, it's it's all about the money. Not all about the money, but that's the biggest piece of it. We don't wanna get into a situation where we get halfway through a project and we're out of money. The feds aren't giving us money, the states aren't having money, and we got Tyvek flapping in the wind out there.
Finding a picture.
And it gives us a chance to look at what did work, what we can retain from the process thus far, collaborating with the other people involved, making sure we're, moving things in a direction that's gonna work for all departments. And be able to add more options that might, change the big outlook and allow us to do maybe it in sections, like maybe we don't have to do everything all at once. Maybe we can get the biggest things taken care of first and then move on to, some of the other housekeeping type things. Maybe we don't get a new door in the BOCC room right away.
Unacceptable. Yeah, I wanna say two things, I guess, about the tenor of this very amorphous conversation we're having here. Sorry if you all have no idea what we're actually saying, but two things from me. One is that the options seem big to me because it's not just about how little can we spend to get our basic needs met. The conversation is, one of the directions we can go is well, how much more could we borrow? Instead of how little could this project be, it's more how could we make it bigger? Could we make it bigger? So we're vacillating kind of between this, the Justice Center was impossible. $8 million gets us nothing. And how can we actually try to potentially broaden the scope, potentially serve more of our building needs, do that really financially prudently, but not blow it up to the Justice Center scope. And then also, I wanna say I had some little yellow flags that oh God, are we circling back to a Justice Center? And for me, the answer is no. But I can see how people who have been watching this conversation in here for over a decade, for almost 2 decades now, might think oh, are you guys moving back towards trying to do more in a different building that is just a Justice Center? We know where that's going, I'm not gonna go there. So, I just wanna be really clear about that. We're potentially talking about changing our scope, borrowing more money is on the table, and I am not interested in going back to a Justice Center, but I am really curious about how we solve holistically our building needs into a potentially different building.
We should also say that doing nothing is also on the table,
Doing nothing is also on the table.
so
That's what I mean about, we have so many options.
there's your spectrum right there.
Yeah,
So essentially, we need some more information
Correct.
pretty darn quickly.
correct, yeah.
And that's what all of us staff are gonna work on getting
Exactly.
memos together with a couple of different options that aren't just the one that it feels like all the eggs are in the basket and we were handed at the beginning
Right.
of our starts. Because it just looks different and we're learning that piecemealing the project, doing things in chunks and phases is probably gonna cost more over the life of something we want to last 50 years. So we're trying to find the best path forward. So I'll work with all of you guys to get the information that we need to figure out what is the best information. Get it to these guys in a memo. We do have one item that I'd like to clean up, just housekeeping related to this, and that's cleaning up this resolution that we all received. And that was that we took out a $8 million COP and we committed $5 million from our general fund reserve. I think until we have a full plan, I'd like to ask that we consider reducing that $5 million commitment to just committing to the courthouse renovation, what we think we would need just to cover the work we're doing, going to continue to do until maybe July, August, when we hopefully before then have the plan of what we're gonna do. But it doesn't seem like committing the full 5 million is prudent, given our financial outlook, and also, you know, we've just wrapped up, we're at the tail end of our 25 audit, I'd love to get, or excuse me, 24 audit, and I'd love to get our 25 audited numbers pretty close, which that should be in July, so that we know exactly what we're working with. So when you commit $5 million, you know exactly what you have in all of your funds.
Yeah, we want that too.
So that is one thing I would ask for. We've drafted a memo to change or to amend that amount, but we don't know the amount that you would want. What is it, Matt? I'm sorry. This
that
one?
one, yeah.
Thanks. And we can drop that amount in here today, once you guys tell us what you would like it to be.
Yeah. Can I just, did we come out of executive session? Did we vote on
No.
that? I move,
Awesome, Jared.
it's okay, okay. I'm gonna move to come out of executive session.
A second.
Oh, wait, no,
No,
we
no,
did.
no,
Yeah,
They
you
did.
good.
We came out of executive.
Yeah,
Okay, yes.
9:59.
It
My bad.
doesn't take a motion.
Yeah.
I was like, I think we did.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's new too.
9:59. Thanks, Matt.
Sorry, I thought we had to do that and I was
We're
nervous.
technically still in our first year, we're allowed to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just trying not to mess up. Okay. Thank you so much, Candace. So how much do you all, does anyone want? I'll make a motion.
Do we need to put a number on that?
You do,
Before we-
because I have no money to continue spending unless you wanna start touching the COP. And we're mid-project with,
Okay, so we
The
don't, we
planting
do not wanna
phase.
commit the 5 million, and I've heard a lot of different numbers thrown around. From 500K to 3 to, what was the number we want?
It just says how much we've spent in the memo, 247.
so far, and then you gave me another 160 for this year,
Yeah.
but if they're gonna continue doing work and help us explore other options, I'll have to continue paying for that.
Yeah.
And we didn't wanna touch the COP. So I think you could do 500,000, you could do 1 million, whatever we don't spend at the end of the year will
It's
roll
fine.
back into the reserve, but I think 5 million's a lot considering we don't know what we're gonna do.
Right. It's to keep and then we can add more later if we absolutely have to.
You
We're
can
gonna spend all of it.
appropriate money from your general fund reserve,
Yeah,
you just have to file it with DOLA, but right now, we're committed for 5 million and we don't have a plan.
does anyone have any, does anyone see any problems with us going ahead with an extra 500,000 right now to move us to the next stages?
I was gonna commit 350. Just based on the just based on some of the information that we've received and potentially shifting that we're gonna do, but we can do 500,000. Candace, how much does that affect your,
It doesn't,
Budgeting
because
outlook.
it's coming from your reserve.
okay,
So-
okay, okay.
Right now, my budget has no room to pay for anything
Yeah,
for
yeah.
this project, and that's why you'd have to commit some to get it moving.
Yeah.
We could always do 500,000, and then I can just try to do like a quarterly, hey, here's how much we've spent
Yeah,
through the quarter, so you guys know where we're at as we're continuing to work towards a plan,
okay,
or
and
as often as you'd like.
the scope of this money could be more than just a courthouse renovation. Can we,
But right now, I'd be paying for the, whatever comes up from RANA and our owner's rep.
based on the contracts already in place? Yeah, okay. Okay, and that we could amend later as well. That reserve money could be appropriated towards different things, okay. Then. Oh, please. Oh, unless Matt, do you have it up?
I do, is Do we just make a motion?
Well, you're gonna have to give her a number first,
Okay.
so the motion should be to adopt the resolution with, whatever number you guys are on.
I would make a motion for 500,000.
So then, if you all decide that, what the number I'm gonna put in here is what you're gonna give
Four
back
million,
to
five
the
hundred.
general fund, yeah.
Got it. Okay, I second that.
Okay, and to a vote on amending section A to read the amount of 5 million previously transferred from the general fund to the courthouse renovation is hereby partially reallocated, and the amount of 4,500,000 will be transferred from the courthouse renovation fund back into the general fund.
Yeah.
And the vote on that.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I move to adopt resolution 2025-40, a resolution of approving the transfer of previously appropriated money from the courthouse renovation. Do we re-adopt this? And adopt renovation fund
Is it just?
and adopting a supplemental budget for 2025. We haven't adopted.
I will second the motion.
To a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Officially amended.
Sorry, I asked a question in the middle of agenda. Sorry, Andy.
It's okay.
Okay, moving on, agenda item number 5. Discussion and consideration regarding community partner funding requests. Led by Candace Bryans, County Manager.
Alright, one moment here to the next. Alright, you guys decided to commit $70,000, and that's in our budget for the next year to our community partners, like total, and then we were not decided, we had a few options thrown out there. I'd be remiss if I say I have memorized all of the different options we discussed, cause in our work session. Cause I think everybody had very different thoughts about what each group should get, but I just need to go through and have you guys come to a decision on, of that 70,000, how much do you want to give to each request, and all the requests are in the packet.
Okay, this is what I proposed last time when we discussed it. That I feel like there was some agreement on. $25,000 to Treetop. They're a child advocacy and forensic investigative entity. $10,000 to conservation. And then $35,000 to Stronger Futures.
I have it written down differently. I had $20,000 to Stronger Futures. 25,000 to Treetop. And 10,000 to conservation. That does not add up to
That doesn't
70.
matter.
That's the,
We had 25, 10, and 35, and
We
the,
had we discussed 35,000 to Stronger Futures?
yeah.
Hmm.
And the reasoning that I proposed was that all of these entities have very valuable requests in a time where people are struggling and will be struggling more. My priority would be to send money to people who will receive it, who will receive a direct benefit to their base needs of Maslow, which is food, shelter, safety. Treetop provides safety for children who have experienced excessive trauma. Stronger Futures provides food, shelter, and safety through their direct service programs. And then conservation is something that is, I think, a value of our community, but that we currently, especially in this last year, have not been able to dedicate a lot of money to, except through our water enterprise. And Harmony does amazing work. The conservation district we have benefited greatly from their work as an entire county, and they have lost $125,000 in funding and have no funding to actually do the work. So throwing them $10,000 seemed like of value.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about this a lot in the work session, I'm comfortable with it. Do we make a motion, or do we just agree that, is there a motion, cause I don't
I
see.
think you'd want a motion.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to fund our partners, the treetop at $25,000, Stronger Futures at $35,000, and the Conservation District at $10,000, and that does add up to $70,000.
Seconded.
Before we take that to a vote, I just wanted to say that, I did think that we should bump those down around 10%-ish, to each of those groups and have at least something to give to the other 6 entities, that we're asking for assistance from the county. But your guys' conversation's pretty compelling about the prioritization of those groups, but I do feel like completely cutting out the other 6 groups, was something that didn't sit right with me. But that said, you wanna take it to a vote?
Aye.
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 I'll also say that in our work session, if people wanna see more about our conversation, we did discuss this really thoroughly, so.
And we're gonna try to do Sandra, correct me if I'm wrong, we had them invoice us last year, correct, and we're gonna do the same thing this year. And that's how these entities will be paid, and then, we did miss people coming to present to you guys in October, mainly I didn't know that it was in the letter that was given out before I was in the seat. So, we're gonna make sure that we have people who've received those dollars come in and actually report on what they've been used for specifically. So we can know that when we are giving community partners donations, that they are, going to meaningful work. And so we'll make sure that that happens in October. We've already got a placeholder to make sure it happens.
Yes.
So I'm sorry I didn't make that happen in October. I didn't know it was in the letter,
It's okay.
but now we do.
Some people
Certainly
sent it
somebody knew
anyway.
it was in the letter, the people receiving the funds knew it was in the letter.
And we received
Yeah.
some of those reports,
We still should have set up a time for them to come
for
report.
sure,
and
for
that's
sure.
not-
We
my
also are gonna change our process of making sure that people know about this.
I think last year, they sent out just an email to everybody and we missed 1 or 2 partners and they did get to come in and present to you guys. But I think in the future, we're going to put it in the paper and to say, hey, if you wanna actually come present as a nonprofit, that way it's fair to anybody that's a nonprofit and they don't have to wait for an email invitation and we don't have to be perfect. And also there could be a new nonprofit we don't know anything about.
Yeah.
So in the future, we're gonna put it out on our social media and in the paper, hey, if you want to have an opportunity to talk about what your work is, what you do, what the impact is, when we talk about community partners, we'll have that out for a week or 2 so people can know when we're planning to schedule it and then be reaching out to us to get scheduled on that one day, so. Just a lot of processes to create that didn't exist.
Yeah, also, we talked about, folks will see that specifically, if you looked at some of the requests that we received, a lot of them were economic development. And I would love to fund economic development, it's really important to me. But we also have an entire department committed to that, so I'd like to see next year more collaboration with that department and some of those requests coming through that department as opposed to this pot of money that to me is for, could be narrowed down a little bit. So I do think that there are a lot of different things happening in the community and we could kind of funnel some of those requests for funding through different pots of money that we have or different departments who are working on those specific things. And we could be getting some of that funding to partners through contracts or whatever. I think we could be getting money to some of these folks through a different mode.
Yeah, that's great, Elsa.
That's a good point.
Point.
This specific fact isn't the end all of the conversation, you know?
No, and we already cut it down from 120,000 to 70,000, so
Mhm.
we're trying to be diligent about specifically where we're spending our money, not just a big thing going all over the place.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, and there's important partnerships with these groups and being able to maintain those relationships and have good working relationships with some of these groups and how we work with them and how they work with our staff is really important, you know?
yeah.
Okay, moving on, agenda item number 6, county manager's update. And if you're ready, it looked like there was a lot in this, there's a lot of updating about to go on, so does anyone need a break for 3 minutes or
Yes.
something? Okay. We're gonna take a point of privilege, between 3 and 5 minutes. Alright, concluding our 5-minute break, getting back on to agenda item number 6 here with a significant county manager update.
It's the end of the year, everybody wants to talk about all their things that they've done, which is awesome.
Things.
So I'll just run through each department. I'm probably not gonna do every one of these items, but kind of hit some of the high points. So for tourism and economic development, we do wanna give a shout out to Adam. He won the governor's award for 2025 Rising Star in Tourism at the governor's conference, which we're really proud of him for.
Here, here.
Our lodging tax numbers are up substantially. The Fat Bike Worlds and Sauna Fest is coming up for the winter season. We're very excited for the snow to show up for that. There will be a new tourism panel member in January. In terms of economic development, we've been looking at the industrial park feasibility report and getting that done, and it should be done in the next few days if it's not already done. We'll be attending the Building Better Communities Economic Development workshop with community builders in February. I'm really excited, I blocked out time to go to that. And I'm excited to do that with our economic development team. I know Adam's been doing some work on early childhood with a task force through CAST, and also it sounds like there's a crew in Lake County that's been working on that. OEM, we have a new director, Gary Kermode. We are very excited for that to not be me. That someone whose background is in OEM has joined us.
I wanna say you did a great job.
Yes, yes,
Thank you
Candace.
for, you know,
Why are we not clapping?
being
Everybody
able
clap.
to do that, and, you know, there were, things happened,
A lot of
emergencies
things
happened.
happened.
There are a lot of things.
Yeah, so, much respect.
Yes,
Excited to pass that torch.
yes.
Public health in the senior center. Kelsey has been working so hard at applying for grants. She got a $60K grant from CDOT, which will cover work that we were doing with our senior center transport anyways. So it's work we were already doing, and it allows us to expand that service for seniors to get their medical appointments, and have food access, which is really important. Public health in the senior center are fully staffed. We recently worked on a SWOT analysis for our public health issues that were identified in our community health assessment. And so we had community partners come on for a Zoom meeting and give input into the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats that we see regarding public health in our community. And then we'll continue work on that plan. It's a plan that we're required to have, that happened just a couple weeks ago. Public health has increased their vaccine doses that they've given, compared to 2024. We're trying to use up the last bit of funding we have towards that work, this year. You guys have heard a bit about their blood lead testing and the results of those. You guys are on the public health board, so a lot of these things you've been a part of. Public Works. Road and Bridge completed, work on the County Road 5A bridge. Paving will be completed next summer during our paving projects. They've got the equipment set up for winter. They plowed snow a few times and cleaned up after. The landfill, they're waiting to hear back on the grant we applied for the scale. We did not get an EPA recycling grant that we applied for. That's why I talked with you guys about this yesterday, I think. And was saying that I knew we didn't get one, but that's the one, that EPA recycling grant, that we asked to sit down with them and have them walk us through why we didn't receive it, how we can be better candidates for that in the future. Maintenance, they've gotten the ice rink ready for skating. Hockey's on Thursdays, you should go watch it.
And Mondays,
Is it on Mondays?
open
Oh, yeah,
hockey
just to skate.
Mondays.
Publix, they've completed 38 requests, plus some emergency requests. And they're just generally getting ready for winter. They got our Christmas decorations set up. Our CSU extension, this is the first year we've had someone in that spot for the whole duration of the year. That department has worked with Project Dream to provide a weekly STEM program at LCIS. They've partnered with Public Health to provide several education programs. They secured a $5,000 sub-grant through the CSU 4-H office to work on outreach programs related to AI. This wasn't this last quarter, but they also put on some really cool classes this summer that were teaching people how to do gardening and grow their own food, which is pretty cool. And then they have worked with the SBDC, the Cloud City Food Lab, Public Health, and the Visitor Center to start training people who want to open a cottage foods business on the Cottage Food Act and how to be in compliance, with those requirements for people who would like to use that as a source of income or to create a business. And then they've partnered with the library, so that's been really cool to see someone actually be in that spot and really provide positive outcomes in our community. Airport, they have been looking at, I know it's not in this update here, but we've been looking at trying to really get those ground leases dialed so we can start using that as a revenue stream out of the airport. And Josh and Josh have really been working together to analyze how can we get our airport, which is an enterprise fund, to be more enterprising in the future. So we're really looking at how can we start to create revenue there, how can we be smart about de-icing in a way that helps us move towards having, a bigger de-icer and actually being able to make that a revenue stream for us. The de-icing is helpful, but really when people come in, because they can leave with the de-icer, they're buying fuel from us, which is really lucrative. So that's definitely some areas that we're looking at for that department, and Josh has been working on with Josh this year. Treasurer prepping for the end of year processes and starting the beginning of year task. Shout out to Patrick's office, they've been really great to sit down and work with Will and I, where we've come across some things that we're like, hey, does this make sense here? Have we allocated things for a bridge correctly? And just really worked with us to get our end of year documents back for the auditor, so that's been great. Parks, Rec, and Open Space. So staff is working through documentation and the grant agreement with GoCo. Chris from GoCo will be coming when we have that award in hand to talk with you guys just about that funding, how it can be used. One request we really heard from them was that with our GoCo funding, we haven't engaged as many external partners, and they want us to be more creative in utilizing external partners who we can bring in from our community. So that's something we heard from them, and they're gonna come and talk with us once we've got that grant award in hand. We've worked on grooming for the Mineral Belt Trail for the 25-26 season, and we'd like the snow to show up so we can utilize it. The Dutch Henry Tubing Hill likely won't be open this season. It doesn't have it quite as much snow as we had hoped yet. So that really hasn't come into play very much this year. CPD, I'm gonna let you guys look at Ann's numbers. I can read them at you. Are there any numbers you wanna highlight?
Not really, I just,
Okay.
I kind of did a year-end review, just to have an idea. I thought it would be noteworthy to look at how many single-family homes have been constructed or permits have been pulled this year. Just give you an idea of the revenue that's come in and the valuations on the builds that have occurred in Lake County. Overall, the building department's processed over 1,000, almost 1,100 registrations, permits, special event permits. So just kind of wanted to show you the bulk of that, and in land use the same. The different types of case files that we've processed. The Wine Community Project is getting recognition through DOLA as an exemplary policy. They've been reaching out and asking questions, and I filled out some information, so I do know that they are going to use it as an example. So we're really proud of that. Just wanted to kind of show the depth and breadth of the One Community Project and what all we've done this year, because I think it's kind of extraordinary the amount of public engagement that has occurred, and we're in the action team stage, as you know. I think each of the action team meetings, I think we've had about 5 or we're close to 5, and all of those who've been coordinating those. For mapping, Shelby's doing an extraordinary job. I've assigned her as the floodplain administrator in training, and she's doing really well with that. And she has updated and created additional mapping resources. She's really helped to make sure that everything's accessible on the website. And again, we're being able to do a lot more GIS layered data, site specific, so that we can get a really stronger analysis through her efforts. Torsten, through OWTS, he has received 2 certifications this year, so he will be able to inspect coming up. So he's an inspector, and he's done soil analysis, and he'll be shadowing with Summit County. And they'll probably come up and shadow him on some of his first inspections. He's already been in the field with the engineers, looking at the different inspection steps within septic systems. So that's pretty exciting. Just gave you how many permits that we pulled for that. We have an action team that's going to be working on implementing e-permitting. That's a big goal of our coming up year. We're taking a deep dive into cloud permit. We think we may have some fatal flaws around mapping. And so we may be doing a pivot on that, but we really want to make sure that our processes get more efficient, and so e-permitting will give us that opportunity. Enforcement, really excited and grateful for all of the work that Matt has been helping us through the county attorney's office on some of our top 10 high profile cases that really need some movement. So excited to have progress there. Don continues to do a remarkable job in getting voluntary compliance though. So that's always a huge win for us. And so we're making progress around those things. Oh, housing, sorry, I just thought I'd jump in.
Yeah, I love it, great.
Housing.
They listen to me talk too much.
As you know, JAGP has been able to secure that $980,000 from Prop 123. We've got 4 houses set. We have the ones that are being stored here will be set on January 6th next week. So we're excited about that. We're thinking our first closings are gonna happen in February on those units, so we're excited about that. And after the first of the year, we can start expecting more of the modulars to get delivered. She's attending that, she won the scholarship to attend the affordable housing session through DU. And so that's a great group, that's a great cohort group. She's really getting, it's just a great network. And so I think that also puts us on the map for other opportunities because she's making those connections. I know you all probably hear about Jackie, she's our rock star. at CTSI, DOLA, everybody, so she's really doing amazing work in housing. And that's kind of sums it up, but I just wanted to give you some data to just be able, I'd also sent over, and I'm happy to send it to the board, we can do a 3-year comparison. So you can kind of look at, like, for the building department, what does that look like? What are our numbers looking like, and what are our trends looking at? We use that a lot for, obviously, for budgeting purposes, for revenues, but also to just kind of see what are our indicators, so I think that's short and sweet.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I can forward that to them if you want.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to drop it in the packet this morning. No worries. All right, continuing on, and thank you for coming.
Mhm.
Thank you, Ann.
This is awesome,
Get
and
more departments to go do it, it's definitely more entertaining, it's not just me. HR, we had a lot of change in HR, they've taken over payroll, which is a huge task. We moved our, so we changed how payrolls run, essentially, to meet our audit standards. So the person who is putting in hours, entering leave, doing anything that would change out the payout amount shouldn't be the person actually processing the payroll packet and pushing the dollars out the door. We're required to have a separation of duties there, and Lake County government has not had that. So that also impacted our DHS audit. They had an ME this year for, I think it's for CDPHE, and we had to change it for them as well. So now we actually have someone who's our benefits and payroll coordinator that lives on the HR team instead of that person who used to be in finance. So we've moved that person over, and finance really just processes the finance piece and pushes that packet out the door so that the person putting the payment out isn't the person changing what could be paid out. And so we're really excited to have that change. We've got a new staff member in HR doing that work, and we're excited to really have someone that understands benefits, can help people navigate those changes, and make the best choices for their family and understand what they're signing up for, so that's really exciting. We went through open enrollment, which is always, getting everyone through so no one misses signing up for their benefits is always a large lift. We've really gotten our benefits dialed, we've streamlined the number of offerings we have to 2 different plans instead of 3, which was kind of clunky to manage on the logistics end, and also 2 of the plans are pretty similar to one another. We've wrapped up end of year items like our Christmas bonus, our benefit deduction, and our COLA increase will be on the first full paycheck of the new year. We used to put that on the last paycheck of the year, and then you have to post half of the payroll to 1 year and then half to another year, and if it's not an even split, it becomes a calculating nightmare. So we've cleaned that up so that we don't have any discrepancies or make mistakes. The HR team has been working with finance and Parks and Recs to facilitate a holiday party. We received great feedback. Every department was represented, and the final head count was 135 people, which is really exciting to have people engaged in outside of work activities. I get that that's an extra thing, but if people enjoy working here enough that they would show up for something that's not required, I don't know, it just builds a nice culture, and we care about our staff. We work, all of us, really hard, and it's really exciting. I don't know, to have people excited to be a part of it and to celebrate and show up excited about the work that they've done. The team is not starting any major projects as we are preparing for Ashley to leave us for a little bit. She is in the home stretch of almost having her little boy, so we're excited for that for her. We've got kind of a plan to cover her while she's out, but we're really excited for her. And then the last thing, I'm gonna add an update for finance, cause Bill didn't, and they've done a ton of work. Finance has gotten through 2 audits, we're in the home stretch of the final one for this year. Gotten the budget fully done, And also, not related to those things, each of the members on the finance team has done additional finance training, which we had everyone on the finance team sign up with CGFOA, which is Colorado Government Finance Officers Association. And every single one of the staff, minus Will, the director, had a mentor this year that they worked with who's worked in government finance for several years. And that's the first time our staff's really been engaged with that organization and had a direct mentor who works in the area that they work in. So if it's the person doing accounting entries, they've got a mentor who that's what they do. If it's the person who's learning the budget, they worked with the budget mentor.
Awesome.
And that was pretty cool to see us get outside of our bubble and actually interact with people who've been doing government finance for a long time. So that's the last thing I have on the list here.
Thank you, Candace.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam.
Wow.
Great job,
Thank you.
really great job.
Yeah.
Do you want anything for your group?
I mean, it's, I'm still, what I would like to do with you guys in the new year is get some visioning going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is really what I'm looking forward to. This last 3 months has been kind of getting my feet under me. You know, Chris has been a huge help in the transition for sure. I know she sort of was the first county attorney for Lake County, so she certainly laid a lot of groundwork for me to come in and you know, begin laying further roads and paths, and you know, that's really what I'm looking forward to. Our paralegal starts on January 12th.
Congratulations.
So that's exciting. I think she's gonna be phenomenal. She's very organized. She can pretty highly recommended from a district court judge. And really just, you know, just getting a handle on processes and looking forward to improving those and figuring out, you know, sitting down with you guys at some point, hopefully in January, and really doing some visioning and figuring out what your goals are, what you wanna do, because certainly there's a lot of things that are percolating in my mind, but certainly, you know, I work for the Lord, so ultimately it's your guys' call of where you wanna steer the ship, so.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. Well, we're lucky to have you both and everybody else on the staff, so
Definitely.
I feel like we're on a really good path here and into the future, so. We did a great job hiring both of you.
Hear, hear. To us.
To us.
We're gonna thank us.
Yeah, turnover's not easy. I feel extremely grateful that we have the team that we have in here,
Same.
in every department, everyone in this county. It gives me so much hope after, you know, all the hard things we've had to deal with in 25, that what's next is gonna be awesome. For Lake County, for the community, for everyone in this building. Onward and upward.
Well, way to finish 2025 strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope everybody rests for a few days and does not jump into 2026 with reckless abandon. Let's pace ourselves appropriately.
Yeah, that sense of like, when we first came in here, that idea of like how many different things can you do? And then realizing that it's like, it gets messy, you know, when you're trying to do so much at one time, and prioritization and focusing on what's important and having a clear roadmap instead of just, you know, just kind of willy-nilly. Pretty excited, and I wanna thank my colleagues for helping, you know, put some guardrails in and help this group steer things, you know, a way that's a little less chaotic, so.
Same.
Cool, alright, that's it. Anything else from,
You have a consent agenda.
oh, that's right. Sorry, I got
Thank you.
lost reading so much, county manager updates. There we are, okay. Agenda item number 8.
I move
Hold
to-
on, what is this? Oh, Consent agenda, sorry.
What is this?
I was reading the end of the
I
consent.
move to approve the consent agenda on December 30th,
Seconded.
2025.
Seconded.
To a vote,
Aye.
aye. Not used the hammer enough this year.
Alright, thank you guys.
Alright, anything else from staff, other commissioners? No? No, alright. It's 10:57 AM, we will conclude this special meeting in Lake County Board of County Commissioners. Thank you, commissioners, thank you, staff,
Thank you, Chair.
thanks everyone.